Have you felt it? The giraffe side.
And the bakery bears.
Welcome to Bakery Bears Podcast, episode 14. Where are we?
In York.
We are in York and we're stood on the city walls. Now, did you know, Kay, that the city walls that we're stood on aren't Roman?
No, I didn't.
No, these are medieval.
Oh, wow.
The Romans arrived in AD 71. It was the 9th Legion. That's pretty famous. And they built the very first settlement here at York. And you can see behind us there the Minster, and the Minster was built on the site of the Roman Pretoria, which was their main head offices. And the walls to that fort ran straight down from here, and they ran round in a square. Now, the Romans did build some walls, but the Vikings invaded in, I think it was about 800 or 900 AD, when the Vikings came. So it was actually after the Romans had gone. They built a wooden, the wooden palisade was on top of the mound that they built, but they built a mound all the way around all the walls that the Romans had built, and they stuck a wooden palisade on there. And these were built in about the 13th century, medieval times. So the walls go all the way around York, and we're going to walk on a little bit, aren't we? Yeah. So for now, I think it's time for some Bakery Bear news. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Today's news headlines are:
Giant bakery bear appears in the US. The bear was spotted in the state of Indiana. Please be on the lookout and only approach with cakes or coconut chocolates.
There's a UK shortage of Lindt coconut chocolates after someone in the north of England bought the lot.
New baking superstar emerges in the US.
An 88-second action movie trailer brings grown men to tears. So this giant bakery bear then?
She's huge. Is it a girl or a boy? I've forgotten
I don't
now.
know. We need to ask.
Joni Pugh.
Joni Pugh. Is it a girl or a boy? You'd think it must be a boy.
I can't remember. And I should remember. I'm sorry, Joni, I can't remember if it's a girl or a boy. But he's huge.
He is ginormous.
She knit a teeny tiny one a little while back, and now she's making this ginormous one. And she's held 3 yarns together to knit it.
How do you do that?
Well, you just hold 3 yarns together.
So you knit with 3 yarns?
Yeah.
Right.
Just pretend that they're one.
Right. And that's what makes it huge?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it's like a super bulky, that, isn't it? And I don't even know what weight of yarn she was holding.
I wonder how far through she is.
She's nearly done.
Right.
It was all, I saw a picture last night and I'm sure the bear was done. And I don't know if she's knit the clothes as well, I'm not sure. But she sat the teeny tiny one in front of the really big one. So if you want to see it, look her up on Instagram. She's Joni Pugh.
Yeah. It's so impressive.
And it's really cute.
And we sort of missed it. Because did you Or was it just me that missed it? Did you always know she was making it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just me that missed it. I'm sorry, Joni, I'm useless.
I saw it from when she'd made the head, which was like as big as a hand.
Every so often I do a hash search on Instagram, on Bakery Bears and on different things. And we should, actually Instagram should highlight those.
Yeah, I don't do it often enough. You
Because
do
you
it,
miss,
don't you? And
well,
you tell me,
I don't
oh,
do
look
it
at this
often
and
enough.
look at this.
But, you know, and so apologies if you've hashtagged anything, we will find it because we do look.
But I like it when Joni tagged me in on Instagram, and then I definitely see it if you do that.
Yeah, actually that's probably a good thing. So don't ever be afraid to tag
Tag me, no, tag
or the
either
other
one
of us.
Yeah, or both of us.
But, you know, we will find them anyway.
Yeah.
And what was that other lady you just told me about this morning who's been on holiday and she took pictures all over the place, didn't she?
Yeah.
That was so cool. Because wasn't it at the OK Corral?
Yeah, it was at the OK Corral and somewhere else. I can't remember now.
Bakery
It was
Bears at the
all
OK
over,
Corral.
yeah.
It's cool. Yeah. So there's a UK shortage of Lindt coconut chocolates.
They're over there. Shall I get them?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're in easy reach.
I was supposed to save these
That's shocking.
That's shocking. I was supposed to save
Is that the second box?
No, it's
Oh,
not
okay.
the second box. I've had 3 out of this box. And I saw these. If you're in the UK, we got them in Wilkinson's. Is that right?
Wilco's.
Wilco's,
Yeah.
as they like to be known now. So it's Lindt Lindor and their coconut. I've never seen them before. And I saw them, and I love anything coconut. I'm a bit of a nut, She's a bit of a nut for Bit of a nut for coconut. I saw these, and I was like, oh. We got them a couple of weeks ago, and I managed to restrain myself until the 1st. Was that yesterday?
Very Christmassy.
And look how beautiful the wrapper. And I've actually kept some of these wrappers, and I'm going to stick them in my journal because I love the colour of that blue. I've got a journal. You don't need to know about it. Why are you laughing at me?
Since when have you had a
I
journal?
bought myself one when we were in Harrogate. I wanted to get one for ages.
Okay.
It's my knitting sort of journal, and
So what are you going to put in it?
just thoughts on like designs I might
Oh,
have,
cool.
or
No, that's cool.
yarn I might see on a podcast and I can just jot
No,
it down,
no,
or
that's
things
cool.
that just inspire me. Things that inspire me, and the colourway on that just inspired me. I love that icy blue with the white and the silver.
It'll be like your Bible, your knitting Bible.
Yeah.
Well, I'm totally with you. When you say journal,
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say
Like a diary.
4th of December.
No.
Woke up
No,
feeling
no.
full of cold.
Just somewhere to put down positive thoughts. I was telling Bryony about it this morning because we bought her one as well, and she's like, and I said, oh, I'm going to stick these wrappers in it, and she went, can you do that? I said, we can put anything you want in your journal. It's entirely up to you. And she's like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to find nice, pretty things and put it in. I said, right, okay. So,
Yeah, she's been
So-
finding nice, pretty bits of tinsel and sticking them
She
all over the
has.
house. The problem is they're like the rag ends, aren't they?
when we put the tree up and decorated, she found this. Oh.
Christmas.
She found this raggy bit of tinsel, and I've got this thing about tinsel.
Like the OCD people. I was watching a programme last night. What's it called? Obsessive.
Obsessive compulsive cleaners.
And this lady, she was getting out her Christmas decorations, and before she put them on the tree, she bleached.
She bleached all of her baubles, and then you told me.
And then she put them on the tree, and she was showing these other obsessive compulsive cleaners, and she was saying, oh, you know, I bleached them, and oh yeah, oh, it's great, it's great. I can smell the bleach, I love it. And then she took a picture of it, and they said, oh, why are you taking a picture of it? And she says, because I take them off twice a week to bleach them again, and I have to put them on in exactly the same places.
Oh my God.
It must be so difficult living with that.
It must be so difficult, and we said
and
that.
I pity anyone, because I'm sure that there could well be people out there.
Absolutely, and I think we're all, to a degree, especially knitters, I think we're all kind of slightly OCD.
Yeah.
You know, things about stripes having to line up and all this kind of stuff. But it must be
Bleaching
really,
your baubles takes it to a whole
bleaching your
new
baubles.
level.
I mean, it must be really difficult to live. But it can't be good for a bauble to bleach it.
She said it brings it up lovely and sparkly.
But it must bleach the colour, surely. That's what...
Well, do you know what? I think there were glass ones with colour on the inside.
Oh, right.
So,
right.
I don't know.
So anyway, if you can find these...
Yes.
You know, I don't know if...
In the UK, you'll have no chance.
Because I've got them all.
Kay sniffed them out.
I have bought another box. Well, you bought me another box yesterday that we're going to take
From my
away.
mum?
Yeah, that we're going to take away with us. Because
Yeah.
your mum loves coconut as well. So.
She does.
And they're absolutely delicious. I've had 3 so far. I've done pretty well.
So,
Not to have snaffled them all.
after your last baking I can't say it, escapades, what happened?
What happened?
What happened?
Lots of people bake shortbread.
But
is that
one person in particular emerged from the mists as a new baking
Oh,
superstar.
I thought you meant with shortbread.
No.
With baking. Oh my gosh.
What's in your oven?
Cake to end all cakes.
And it's his own recipe.
Yeah.
And we're
It was-
talking about sort of it.
Sort of in it.
We're talking about Josh.
Gosh.
That cake. Oh, I could taste it.
It was like this. And it had, I don't know how many layers. I don't know how many layers of sponge it
A dragon
had.
could have created his lair inside of that cake. It was so vast.
And it had like cream, some kind of, I'm not sure what sort of filling it was. And then he had like caramelised nuts and things all up.
Josh rocks because, you know...
It was amazing.
We tongue-in-cheek put out the challenge to find out what was in his oven. And
Yeah.
he went to a whole new level. He
Really
created a
did.
brand new recipe.
It really did. It was absolutely mammoth and it looked really... I don't know how you would slice it. Can you imagine the size of the slice? Even if it was thin, it would be like a tower. It would look like the Flatiron building,
Flatiron
wouldn't it, in New York?
Flatiron cakes.
It would be like that. That's what you should call it.
Flatiron cake. Because when you slice it, that's what it looks like.
It's like...
Do you know what? I think it's creative people in baking.
Yeah.
I think if you're creative with knitting, and there's been a few knitters who said,
he's
"Oh,
a
you know,
designer, isn't
I'm
he?
just,
So-
I'm just not a cook." I think you should give it a go, because if you've got those creative,
I don't think you need to be a cook to be able to bake.
no, you're
I
right.
think baking and
That's an art form.
cooking are 2 entirely different things.
You've always said baking is an art form. You have to be
It's
precise.
science. Baking is a science.
Yes.
Whereas cooking is very creative. Do you know if you're making,
You can
cooking
blend
tea, you
different-
can, yeah. But
But
with
I
baking,
think that's what Josh did. I think he sort of blended. I'd love to have tasted it.
yeah, so do I.
That would have been
Yeah.
pretty impressive. And he mentioned the other day about designing some sweaters, maybe.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and he's going to call them the Sweaters of Awesome. I said that sounded like superheroes who get their powers from their sweater of
Yeah,
awesome.
it
That
does.
sounded so cool. It's like Jedis.
It is.
And they're, what's it called? Oh, Lord. It's the midi-chlorians.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's in your Sweater of Awesome, Josh. I can't wait to see it. That's what you should do one called the midi-chlorian.
Should.
And the 88-second
Well, that
action-
leads us into...
It does. Does it? Of course it does.
Of course it does.
Yeah. Hey, these have been particularly good headlines
Yeah.
because each one has led
Led
into the
into
next.
the other one.
Someone might think it was even planned that way. Yeah, the 88-second. Now, I wonder if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about.
I doubt it.
You see,
Can't imagine.
there could well be some people wondering what was going on at the start of this podcast. Now we speak about it as if this bit of the podcast already exists. It doesn't, because we're filming this before I attempt to shoot
Yeah.
a homage to the new trailer that came out for, what's it called, Kate?
Star Wars. Oh no! God, what's it called? The Force Awakens. Oh,
My Christmas was nearly ruined. Well done. Who hasn't seen it? Seriously, go watch it.
we've seen it 27 times, possibly 30.
And what happened when we watched it? You said to me, "You're not getting upset, are you?"
And I was too. And it was when the Millennium Falcon came zooming in and the music started. I was like, oh, it's a new one.
I was gone as soon as you saw the dunes, because it just
That
looked.
was it looked like.
They looked right.
It looked like episode 4, 5 and 6.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, specifically episode 4, which is where they
Yeah,
spend a load
yeah.
of time on Tatooine. I think they were super clever as well not to put any of the old characters in, because I can't imagine that us seeing any of the old characters is going to be an overly positive experience.
No. Yeah, like the I mean, there was like an ode to R2D2, wasn't there?
Well, he's in it.
It was like a ball on like R2D2 on a ball.
Yeah.
Riley thought that was super cute. She was actually a bit scared by the.
It was just the start.
It was the start where it just went.
The stormtrooper jumped out.
And it was a bit kind of jumpy, but she likes it now.
She absolutely likes it. It looks great. And there's one more additional news headline, I suppose. I suppose I could take my hat off.
Take your hat off. I said to him, "You don't need you don't need to leave your hat on. You've had it on long enough."
Well, I mean, I have actually just this week, I suppose, stopped wearing the hat around the house.
And to be honest, I've not even noticed that. You know, because you've got hair.
I feel really.
You feel really nervous.
Yeah. Oh no! You take it.
Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? Ta-da! Yay! It's so dark. I mean, you'll all know Dan's hair colour was like auburn, reddy auburn, and it's now like this dark brown. But you know, a lot of people have said to us it's the first growth, and.
But there was a first growth that was light.
It was, yeah, it was like really blonde. It was really blonde. So maybe you're going to stay. You could take these off now, darling.
No, news hasn't finished. They stay on until I say, what's on your needles?
So maybe you're going to stay dark like that. And it's kind of...
And my eyebrows are dark.
Your eyebrows are dark.
And what was interesting on my eyebrows was there was blonde bits on the tips.
Yeah.
So clearly the first growth was blonde.
Which is funny because you were blonde when you were like a baby and very young, weren't you?
So my first growth then was blonde.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But yeah, you're dark at the moment.
And fluffy.
It's very fluffy.
I'm dark and fluffy.
It's very soft and fluffy. I keep playing with your hair, don't I?
Someone was very nice on the last episode thread. Someone in this country actually. Because I did, for a couple of minutes, I did have my hat off in the what's in your oven segment.
Yeah.
And she said I look really nice with it.
You do look really nice with that, yeah.
It was very sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, because I'm sure you probably realise I'm not particularly confident at the moment, generally. Anyway, is that the end of the news?
I think that's the end of the news.
We should say
I have a
before.
cold is the other bit
And
of
I'm
news.
in the process of
we are
inheriting that cold.
Yeah, thank you, Bryony.
Yeah.
But I'm now taking under the advice of my friend Sally. She keeps saying to me, "Are you taking zinc? Are you taking zinc?"
So
like
we did
this.
this morning.
So I went this morning and got some chewable zinc and vitamin C tablets. Oh my gosh, what did they taste like? It's the
You know, have you seen The
It's like
Simpsons where he has the Venus de Milo and his face goes...
It was the sourest, sharpest thing I've ever tasted in my life. It just made my eyes water. And it was like a crunchable, sort of chewable tablet.
Yeah, I like sour things.
But that was beyond sour,
But
wasn't it?
we shall take our medicine.
Yeah, but we'll be taking it. Sally, I'm taking my vitamin C and my zinc. So,
You're being a good girl.
being a good girl. I've got my hat on today.
And we should say at the start, just so people know, that you will, or you have already drawn...
I've closed the Mzansi thread.
Mzansi. Sorry. Umbongo.
Oh, we were talking about that, weren't we? Can anybody in England remember that drink
They
in a
drink it in the
carton
Congo.
called Umbongo?
Umbongo.
They drink it in the Congo. No, Congo. I don't know why I thought about it last night. It was just making me laugh because the advert's so ridiculous. Anyway, so I've closed the thread for the Mzansi ebook, and big news.
I'm getting ready for the big news.
Are we still on the news? Are we still taking your
We're still
messages?
in the news.
Right.
Go.
Sally Jane sent me a message a couple of days ago saying that she wanted to add a hard copy
Yes.
book to the giveaway.
Yes.
So I've drawn 2 names, one for the ebook, one for the print book, and also because of what we said on the last podcast and the feedback we gave her just about the layout of the ebook, she's changed it.
Amazing.
And she actually, by chance, sent me an update through this morning, and we've had a look at it, and it's fantastic now.
If you download it to your iBooks, if you have an device, and if you use it in landscape, it's perfection.
It's brilliant, yeah.
Nice and big, no real need for zooming.
No, you can see it.
And I'm sure if you used it in an Adobe app and were drawing lines through it, or any of the apps that I know people use to cross off, where they've worked on a PDF, I'm sure it would work just dandy.
Yeah. So print book and an ebook. I've closed the thread. We've drawn the numbers, and I've got the winners to tell you at the end of the podcast.
And it's quite exciting.
It's very exciting.
About the winners.
Because you
it's very Christmassy. Say no more.
It's very Christmassy.
You'll find out at the end.
You'll find out.
And you will also be showing the prizes for...
I'm going to show the prizes for the toy knit along that's still ongoing till the end of December. And I thought about this because obviously it closes New Year's Eve. But what I'll do is I will close the thread New Year's Day when we get up. I'll close it then, just to allow for time differences and things, just in case you're beavering away on New Year's Eve finishing your toy.
Beaver stuffy. That would be cool.
A beaver, that would be cute, yeah. So I'll close it on the 1st of January, and then we will draw for prizes the next podcast following that. I'm not sure what the date will be. So I'm going to show the prizes that I've got so far. Why are you laughing?
No reason.
I'm showing the prizes that I've got so far. I've got one more on the way, but I'll show you those at the end because I haven't shown those yet.
So. Exciting. I can't wait.
Very exciting.
Yeah. So it's time for me to ask. Yeah, I will do when we get to section.
It's freaking me out, those
because I'm probably going to have to cut now unless you're unbelievably swift. For me to ask, what's on your needles?
I can be swift. I can be that swift.
Wow, that's impressive.
So, what's on my needles?
Yeah, Kay Jones, what's on your needles?
The first thing I've got a little variety of things actually on my needles this week, and how many are new? Two of them are new. The first thing on my needles is a hat, and I'm knitting the Ricky hat.
Ricky.
Okay. Anybody who used to watch EastEnders will know what.
He's probably back. He's probably been back twice.
I've not watched I've not watched EastEnders for years and years and years.
I turned the telly on the other day, and I recognised every character.
Oh gosh, it's just all doom and gloom.
Yeah.
It's people are always yelling at each other and arguing and fighting, and I just can't watch stuff like that anymore.
No. What's the point?
So anyway, the Ricky hat, it's a free pattern on Ravelry, Rikke, and I've been wanting to knit one of these for ages. I've seen loads of people knitting them, and I don't know really what stopped me. And I think the thing probably that stopped me is a lot of people were saying that they didn't like having to purl in the round because it's garter stitch, but it's in the round, so you have to knit a row, purl a row, knit a row, purl a row to get a garter stitch. And quite a lot of people were knitting it flat and then seaming, so they didn't have to purl. And I know some people as well were doing like a kind of wrap and turn thing, so they could just carry on knitting. So I just thought I'm going to start one, and I have absolutely no problem in purling in the round. It doesn't bother me at all, purling. But everybody's different. So I'm doing the Ricky hat, and I'm doing this from some yarn. If you remember, back in the summer, I balled up some yarn to make some socks.
I remember.
Yeah, I took on holiday with me, and I did start the socks, but something in me was telling me that I shouldn't be knitting socks with this yarn. It's skein yarn, and it's merino cashmere, 80 merino, 20% cashmere. It's an Australian yarn. And so I ripped them out, I frogged them. I'd only done like the cuff and a little bit more, and I'd left the two, because I halved the skein to knit them kind of both at the same time, and I left them in the project bag and stuck them in with my yarn. And I found it the other day, the bag with the yarn in. I thought, oh gosh, this yarn's beautiful, I should knit something with it. And I thought, I'm going to double it and knit a Ricky hat. So that's what I'm doing, and it's working out absolutely fabulous. I'll show you the yarn and the skein. It's so pretty. So I wound the 2 skeins I had, I wound it together into one cake, so it's easier to work from. And the colourway is Tuscan, which is beautiful. It's like
Tuscan Raider.
Who?
Tuscan Raider. Star Wars. Sorry.
Right.
Sorry.
So I'm this far in. I've just changed needle sizes. You do the first. It's a free pattern, so I'm not giving anything away. You do the first 15 garter ridges on a smaller needle and then switch to a bigger needle. So I've just changed to the bigger needle, and I'm that far in. I'm not. It's a slouchy hat, and Dan loves those.
Oh, they're my favourites. I love to wear them.
Well, this is a slouchy hat I've got on.
I know, and I love it. It's my favourite.
Well, you hate this hat.
I do.
You hate it?
No.
You don't like this hat, can you believe it? And I think it's lovely. This is the Dragonflies hat by, I think it's Hopi Locatelli. It's on my project page.
Hohe.
Hohe. Someone at Bryony's school. It said to knit it to 9 inches. I'm not going to go to 9 inches. I might go to like 7 maybe. So it's got a bit of slouch, but not the kind of silly slouch that Dan doesn't like. So that's my first thing, and I'm loving knitting it. It's really kind of addictive, and you could knit one of these. It's just
right.
knit a row, purl a row, knit a row, purl a row.
Okay.
That's all it is.
Well, okay. Maybe I'll try it.
And then you just do decreases.
I'll wait
when
till
get to
you've
the top.
finished
it.
yours.
Yeah.
And then I'll decide.
And it's so squishy because it's fingering weight doubled, and because this is merino cashmere. Oh, it's so nice. And I was knitting it the other night, and Bryony said, "Who's that for?" And I said, "Well, it's for me, kind of, but you can borrow it if you want." So that's my first.
I think we should have another. You're on a roll.
I'm on a roll. Another one.
Kay Jones, what's on your needles?
Well, I'll go with this one. This is the Bag of Shame currently.
It needs a theme tune. Go. There we go.
These socks are in the Bag of Shame because it's my own fault, I've discovered. It's Dan's 88 miles per hour socks.
Can we always have a bag of shame every episode?
A Bag of Shame.
We'd like that, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Please continue.
So this is No Maker's yarn, 88 miles per hour, which is obviously an ode to Back to the Future. And of course Dan loves Back to the Future.
I do.
So, and I think I'd only knit the cuff and then put them down because I was working on loads of other stuff. So I picked these up last week, and I've finished the leg on this one, and it's doing this kind of swirly, spirally thing, which I'm totally cool with, right? So then I cast on the other one when I finished the leg of this one, and this one's doing a totally different thing. This one's doing a really lovely variegated thing, which, if I'm totally honest, I prefer the variegated to the kind of swirly pooly thing. So when I realised that they were looking different, I put a picture on Instagram saying, "Oh, what is going on?" And a few people noticed that I was using 2 different brands of needle. They're the same size but 2 different brands. Now I just picked up 2.5mm needles. I didn't think about it. So Lala said to me, maybe your gauge is a tiny bit different. So I measured my gauge, and it's half a stitch different within the inch on this to this. So I'm pretty sure that's what is causing. I'm in a right tangle, aren't I? I'm pretty sure that's what's causing the difference.
Have you got 2 tangle skeins?
I've got 2 tangle skeins. Yeah. I have actually got 2 look. So when I realised that's what was happening, I just put them in the Bag of Shame because I needed to think about whether I could live with having 2 different socks, because the size, you're not even going to notice the difference in the size. It's going to be marginal. There's really nothing in it. So it's whether I just carry on and have fraternal socks, as they're called, or whether I rip this one back maybe to the cuff and change to these same needles. These are carbons and these are Addies. Addi lace and carbons. So I'm presuming the carbons must be like a tiny smidge bigger. So I'm yet to think what I'm doing with this, whether I'm just going to carry on. Which do you prefer, or are you not bothered at all?
I'm not bothered.
You see, Dan's not bothered, and he's going to wear them, so, you know. Dan Jones, what's on your knee?
Oh, no squeeze. Oh! Oh. As you can hear, it's the Cowl of Doom! What I love about this cowl is my ability now, previously, now I'm saying all this, and then you'll find out that I've done something horrendously wrong and I've got loads of short rows, but what I love about this cowl now is I've knit it for so long. I don't even need to think about where I'm at, really.
It's like a member of the family, isn't it?
It is like a member of the family, and how amazing it's going to be, combined with a lighter pink hat,
Yeah.
cowl. Yeah, you'll be away.
Oh.
That would be marvellous. So yes, this is the honey cowl, as you all know, and the yarn is
Countess Ablaze.
as they all know, because
As
they
they all
find out
know.
in most episodes.
Swoosh singles in the Tiffany's lipstick colourway.
Beautiful.
And you're on the second skein.
I think we're alone now.
I think we're alone now.
Tiffany, wasn't it?
Oh, Tiffany, yeah.
Was that Tiffany?
That was Tiffany. We said that last time.
Yeah. We're retracing old
We
ground.
are. It's like deja vu.
Terrible. Moving on.
Moving on.
Okay, Jones, what's on your needles?
Oh my goodness.
Right.
Said Fred.
I'm too sexy for my
Oh,
hat.
it's terrible, wasn't it?
I'm a model, you know what I mean?
It's awful song, awful.
They still look the same.
Yeah,
They were all Pointless.
gosh, they were.
Do you know what Pointless is?
We love Pointless
Many of our watchers will, because many will be
in the UK.
in the UK. But
It's a quiz. It's a quiz show. But we all watch it, and some of the questions Bryony can answer because sometimes they're on like Disney films.
She
or
nailed one
books,
last night,
children's books.
didn't she?
Totally did.
I'm stood there thinking,
And she
just
knew
goes,
it.
bang. What was it? We've
It
forgotten.
was who gave the coat of many colours to
Jacob did. Jacob.
She just went Jacob.
I'm thinking, I was working through the song.
Yeah, I know. Well done, Bryony. Right, talking of Bryony, I showed you this last time, but
Or
I'd
as
only
Santa calls her, Bryony.
Oh, he does, yeah. Does anyone else do that? Do you know the what's it called?
P&P. Portable North Pole.
Portable North Pole, and you can get Santa to talk to anybody. And we do it every year for Bryony and for us as well.
What do you mean we do it every year?
Or Santa, okay, Santa does it every year. And, you know, Bryony, the name Bryony must be tricky for Santa to understand. And
Well, he's Finnish.
That's true. And he says Bryony.
Yeah.
And every year Bryony goes, oh,
Hey?
still doesn't know how to say
What?
my name. Bryony. So this is, I'd only just started this last time. I had a tiny little cast on for the dress, I seem to think. So this is the mouse that I'm knitting in my disguise as Mrs. Claus. It's the Little Cotton Rabbit's Mouse Girl in a Flowered Dress, as the pattern's called. But I'm doing it, are you alright?
Yeah.
I'm doing it to look like Snow White, or hopefully will look like Snow White, because that's what Bryony wanted. I have all the pieces knit, and I've started sewing it all together. The first thing I'm going to say, this is nothing to do with the pattern's fantastic. My choice of yarn, which is the cotton choice, I mean not the actual mouse yarn, is this DMC Natura Just Cotton. And I bought it because they had the right colours. I was looking for this yellow. Do you know how it's very distinctive, that yellow of her dresses, and the blue. I was seeing lots of like pale yellows, but this was the only one where I saw this sort of bright golden yellow that worked. It's driven me literally to drink this yarn. It has. It's the splittiest. I know cotton yarn is inherently splitty because it's made up of several, everybody knows, you know, but it's made up of several very tiny strands held, you know, twisted together. And this one, I've separated the strands off as 8 strands, which I think is fairly normal for a cotton, but it's so splitty. But add into that the fact that it twists. Do you know, I undid a bit of this and rewound it so it won't be doing it. But do you know when you get a yarn and you do that and it twists on itself? Like I say, I've untwisted this one, but it twists. Well, it was doing that as well. So I'm knitting with it and it's splitting, and then at the same time it's twisting, so it's all twisting around my hand. Right, anyway, I'm done with it. So I have all the pieces knit. Excuse the sniffing, I'm sorry. This is the little dress, and I've even put little, do you know how Snow White has like little red bits of fabric showing? I think it's got like slits in it, the blue, and like red shows underneath. So I just got some red yarn and just did like little sort of speckles, if you like. So that's the dress, and I think I'm going to put a little red piece of yarn through here as a band around the waist, and I'm also crocheting a little collar in white. The lady Julie Williams, I think it is, yeah, Julie Williams, she put out a separate addition to her dress pattern, and it's got a little Peter Pan collar. It was a free edition, but you need a really small crochet hook, like 2.75, and I didn't have one that was anywhere near it, so I ordered one yesterday. So I'll be putting on a white collar as well. So that's a little dress. And I put the head together yesterday, and I put a picture on Instagram, and I don't know that I've had as many likes for anything on Instagram.
Yeah, I think you had 6, didn't you?
Yeah. Was it
up to 7 now?
It might have been up to 7. But again, you see, this yarn, this cotton yarn, caused me issues, because as I was doing the nose, here's the little head.
Look away, Kimmy.
Oh yeah, Kimmy knits is like, oh my god, it's too cute, I can't look at it. As I was sewing the little nose, like do you know when you're sewing backwards and forwards, one of the strands was like pulling longer than the other. So there's like little bits where the strands are sort of loose, so I'm going to just tuck that in. So I redid the nose like 3 times. I did the eyes twice. I did the mouth twice. Just to get the kind of positioning right.
Why didn't you just do it once?
Oh gosh,
and get it right?
I wish I could have just done it once. But I used this, oh, and that's the other thing. I used an Angora yarn for the mouse. It's very fluffy. I wanted a fluffy mouse. And she recommends this yarn in the pattern. It's Adria Fil Carezza. And it's an Angora Merino mix. Now, I hope you can see how fluffy that is. I'm sure Dan will zoom in. But it's not just fluffy, it's actual physical rabbit hairs. So it kind of freaks me out when I'm knitting with it, because you get covered, absolutely covered in rabbit hairs, and it is like you've had an Angora bunny sat on your lap while you've been knitting. So I had...
Remember that bunny once when we went to...
Oh, it was huge.
It was the school where I used to work.
It was a massive bunny.
Yeah, it was like as big as a person.
It was like this, yeah. So that was the other issue I had, in that it kept flying off and I was sneezing and it was going in my eyes and...
Not yarn I should use.
No, oh gosh, no, definitely not with your sneezes. So I have the little head done. It's very cute, you know, and imagine her in her little dress. Look.
Hello.
Little Snow White mouse.
Anchor mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty.
Isn't it going to be sweet?
We will find it. We will find it.
And I've got all the bits done. I've got the arms in here and the body. She's got blue tights on. These, believe it or not, are the shoes and the legs. She's got gold shoes. These have not obviously been sewn up yet. Everything's seamed on this pattern. So if you don't like seaming, I'm not sure it's maybe the right pattern for you, because it does take a lot of patience. It's well worth it, but it's very time consuming, and she does say in the pattern that it takes her as long to seam it up as it does to knit all the pieces, which I can well believe. But they're going to be the little shoes. So she's got like blue pants and tights on. And there's a little strap as well across here, and there's French knots for the shoes. And there's a little tail, which is just an I-cord. So it will be done on the next podcast. Dan Jones, what's on your needles?
Well, go on then, go for it.
I'm really sorry.
Beautiful.
I'm really sorry.
'Tis the continuation of Briny Socks. I'm nearly there.
Oh, yeah.
Ish.
Yeah. I think when I measured them the last time, you were only about an inch away from the toe.
Right, and I've done 3 rows now since then.
You've probably only got 3 or 4 rows left to go.
So probably 3 or 4 rows down to the toe, and then lovely squishy.
It'd be lovely to get those done for Christmas.
Okay.
Do you think?
That's my mission, and you all have to keep me on track.
Because she had on her, and I knitted some Christmas socks probably a couple of months ago actually, and I've kept them until sort of 1st of December, and she had them on the other day, and on Monday, and historically she's not really worn the hand knit socks, has she, very much?
No, well, she totally went for those.
But these ones she had on all day on Monday. She wore them all day, so I was absolutely thrilled.
It's a lovely purple, this actually.
Yeah.
And it's quite difficult. It never really comes out as well as
they're very difficult colours to capture those on camera.
could, and it should.
It's like a deep purple with a lighter sort of magenta-y sort of purple in it, I'd say. I think it's Purple Magic, Malabrigo worsted, I think.
It's lovely. Kay Jones, what's on your needles?
My final thing at the moment, my last project, and this one's in, I snaffled one of my own bags that I made. It's one of my Christmas ones that I just sold, and my goodness.
You didn't get
Thank you so much to people who
your
bought.
cart nabbed.
Cartjacked. A couple of people did get cartjacked when they were trying to get them, so I'm really sorry. I only had a metre of this fabric, and I don't know what it is. People have asked me because it wasn't labelled. I got it from that knitting show I went to, which I'll talk about. So I only had a metre, so I slightly changed the size of it to maximise the fabric. I put in a really deep, I made it a bit shorter, but I put in a really deep gusset, so that, you know, it's, when you open it up, it's really nice and wide and roomy. So you know, it's good size. I've got a whole giraffe project in here, and I just love this fabric, and it does still smell a little bit. I didn't do it on the ones that I sold because I thought people might have kind of smell allergies and things like that. But in this one, I put in a few drops of like an essential oil that smells Christmassy. It's like cinnamon and...
Why are they called essential oils?
I don't know, actually. It's not an essential oil, actually. It's just an oil. An essential oil are things that you use for massages and such, aren't they? So anyway, thank you to everybody who bought one of these, and I think there was 2 people in the UK and they've already got theirs, and the others to US and Germany. I think it was there on their way. So, and in here I've got another Miss Gelato Giraffe, but this one is a mini, because of course Bryony's like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to have a little mini giraffe?
It's mini-me.
And I'm like, oh, because I did a mini bakery bear. She's now like, oh. And I said to her, well, maybe you'll have it in your Christmas stocking. What did she say to me? She was like...
I'll just nag you and nag you until you do it.
She did. She says, oh, I want it now, and I'm just going to nag you until you get it. Oh, I can't believe it.
Yeah, she was doing it in jest though.
She was doing it in jest. She wasn't serious. And she laughed as she was saying it. But of course, me being me, I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to do it now. So I started this mini giraffe, and I'm this far in. Look, it looks a bit bizarre at the moment because there's no horns or anything on it, there's some of my hair on it. But look at the size of it, and I'll compare it to a normal giraffe for you. I'll show you this one a bit in detail later, but look, I mean, it's probably half the size, I'm guessing. So this is knit from my Fibre Nymph Dye Works, the custom order that Lisa did for me. It's the My Little Pony 4-stripe. I thought it'd be fun to see what it looked like in a self-striping yarn, because I don't think it's going to use much yarn at all. I will weigh my skein at the end and put it on my notes as to how much it used, but it might be really, you know, it's a really good use of that kind of leftover, because I have quite a lot of leftover yarn from a pair of socks, so I think it'd be a really good use of that. So that's how far I've got. So I've done white for like the nose, and it'll be on the ends of the arms and stuff. And that's another colour of a pony, that's Rarity. And then the little cardigan I'm going to do in the blue of Rainbow Dash. So then it's got all of the colours in. So I did it on 2.25mm. I could have done it on 2mm, but I just couldn't face knitting on 2mm needles. They're just so little. So it's 2.25, and then I think the cardigan, all I'll do is I'll just downsize the needles, and I'll probably do that on, because I think normally I'd do it on 3mm. So I'll go down to 2.25, and I think that'll size it down probably enough. So that's that.
That's that?
Yep.
Oh, that sort of came and went quite quickly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You normally waffle on for much longer.
I feel like I've been talking
That's
a lot.
We've been talking about your projects.
I know.
Everyone's interested.
It feels like a lot, and the cream is just Cascade Heritage in just their kind of natural. Oh, and I'll just mention about the bags. I'm not very good at the whole kind of self-promotion thing, but
That's why we love you, Kay.
a couple of people asked me if I would open a Ravelry thread to put on there when I'm having bag updates, because they weren't on Instagram and didn't realise when the updates were. So I have, and I will. There is a thread now, and I will post in there a couple of days before I do an update. It's also, I always put it on the shop header. It's always on the shop header when the next one's going to be, and I always Instagram it. So hopefully I've covered bases.
Yeah.
It'll be mid-January before I do any more. So
That's all.
that's all.
Wonderful. So I tried to do my Hercule Poirot.
Hercule.
Yeah. I don't like people who put on accents when they say foreign things.
Oh, your mum does that.
Like my mum. Yeah. We'll try and get this on camera when we
Yeah.
interview her. I tried to do my Hercule Poirot. I can't even say it. I can't even say it now. Poirot. You know how last week or last episode I started trying to find out a little bit about people who I was asking
yeah.
what's on your needles. Well, this person was really tricky.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, like, the only thing I could find out is if you're in Canada, you can start to get excited. If you have knit a cowl, like a hooded cowl, and turned it into an Ewok head, you should get extremely excited. And this fits really nicely with the searching on the Bakery Bears thing, on the Bakery Bears hashtag.
Right.
Because I was doing this, I was doing a search one day quite recently, and up popped this person with some really, really cool projects.
Right.
And I sent her a message just on one of her pictures, and she sent me one back.
You did show me an Ewok head now,
Yeah.
I think about it.
Yeah, she was just super cool. So hopefully she knows who she is, because I can't do any more hints because I couldn't find anything else. Tried to find her on Ravelry, but I couldn't.
People sometimes have different names on Ravelry.
Well, it's an interesting one. Bernadette, what's on your needles? Because this person, her Ravelry name is Eco, big E, big C, small O, and then Geek, but Geek spelt G33K.
Oh, right. Right.
So I put that into Ravelry, and it found someone called Eco Geek.
But not her.
Well, the strange thing was, this person was also in Canada.
Oh, right.
So I'm thinking, is this the same person? So then I'm sort of having a bit of a look at this person, feeling like a bit of a weirdo because I thought I was stalking someone. And I'm pretty certain it isn't, because it's Bernadette who we want to know what's on your needles. Go over to the thread. And also, Bernadette, you need to introduce yourself in the thread, because I think she's been a watcher for ages.
Oh, right.
So come and introduce yourself in the welcome to the bakery. And I think we should go back to York.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was an interesting old day in York, wasn't it?
It was. Gosh, it was so busy.
Thanks to Black Friday.
Oh.
Thanks to Amazon for bringing it here. I mean, although you can let Amazon off because it's an online thing, so it's not like you can get caught in.
I think Walmart and Asda.
Yeah, it was. It was Asda that
It was
brought it
Asda
over.
because Walmart bought Asda,
It's disgraceful.
And I think that's what brought it over.
It's
And
just
now,
disgraceful
But-
watching people behave
oh
in the
my
way
gosh, it was terrible. People fighting for like television
over really shoddy stock.
Well, it was just ridiculous.
There was
literally people getting trampled. What is the world coming to? It's just crazy.
Anyway, back to York for some more out and about. Ow. Now, many people wonder why the walls still exist in York when they don't in other cities in Britain. Because every city had medieval walls. And the reason being is in the 1800s, the council did want to get rid of the walls. What they did was they had to petition Parliament and ask if they could take the walls down. Parliament said yes. The York Council started taking the walls down, but the people of York went crazy. Now, unfortunately, it took them quite a few years to win their battle, but win it they did. Unfortunately, in that time, some of the walls had been taken down, so not all sections now remain, but thankfully, they did preserve most of it, and now it's a Grade 1 listed building and a protected World Heritage Site. And in the background, of course, you can see the Minster where I used to sing. Now, the Minster is a very special place, really, in world history, because that's the site where Constantine was declared Roman Emperor. Now, why is Constantine special? Because Constantine broke down the barriers of religious persecution, and also Constantine took Christianity really to the four corners of the Roman Empire, which at that time were the four corners of the world. So that is the site over there where Constantine was declared Emperor. They then built the cathedral that subsequently became the Minster. Let's have another look at some more walls.
So here we are at the Roman walls, and what I always find strange is you don't see a lot of Roman stuff. It's only when you look down there that we think was an ice house, don't we?
We did, yeah.
Where they stored ice low down in the bank.
I want that house.
Yeah, they're beautiful, aren't they? And they're literally straight down off the wall.
Yeah.
There's upsides and downsides, of course, because, look at that sign, that bile bean sign. That bile beans were a product a long time ago. That got taken down, and then it got made a monument, so they had to put it back up again.
Wow, I didn't know.
Good view.
I'm sorry about my voice, everybody.
It's called a cold.
The cold has hit my throat.
You probably got it when you were walking along there in
I
the wet.
probably did.
Yeah, nice. So it stretches a good way around York, and this is pretty much how it is, isn't it?
It is, it goes, all the way around. And my favourite bit actually is where you get to near the Minster around here, because all the gardens are beautiful.
Like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of these are clergy from the Minster, or important people involved with the Minster in general.
It's a nice perk.
Yeah, it is. It is. And as you walk down here as well, just to the right, we're going to see one of the leading teaching colleges in the UK. What I mean by that is, if you want to train to be a teacher, you can go to a number of different places, but many people go to the College of Ripon and St John, which is that old building there, which is another stunning building, actually.
So now we're coming up to Bootham Bar. There's been a gateway here for almost 2,000 years, and it's on the site of one of the four main entrances to the Roman fortress, which was around 71 to 400 AD. It's on one of the main streets. The archway itself dates from the 11th century, and the rest of the structure is mainly from the 14th century.
The stone gate is seriously cool for shopping. That's one of the... I always get confused with Stonegate and the Shambles. Oh, no, I don't now. I mean, we're going to see the Shambles in a minute, but I learned what the Shambles was called, and I'll tell you when we get there a little bit later. So this is the 14th century bit that we're seeing now in here. So you would have been garrisoned here. There actually is the portcullis, the thing that slides up and down to let people in or out, and there's the arrow slits where if anyone, because that's actually on the York side, that would be if anyone got through, you'd shoot them with your arrows. And then we see as we come through the door, I actually caught my hand on the door, you see that?
Yeah, you did.
It really hurt as well. As we come down the side here, we're going to come around in a minute and we're going to see the front. But you can see the old stairway which led you up to the 14th century bit. But I think we should have a look at the 11th century bit, which is the archway here. So here is the 11th century bit. So that's the bit that's been there the longest. And didn't they install something on there?
Yeah, they did. They installed a door knocker in 1501, and they installed it because they wanted the Scots to knock and seek permission from the Lord Mayor before they actually were allowed to enter the city.
Which is funny because we adopt the same principle at our home. We expect them to knock and seek permission before coming in.
We do, yeah. Yeah.
Actually, the same could be said for anyone who comes to visit our house. No,
We're not that grand.
I jest, of course. Now, Bootham Bar was the last of the bars to lose its barbican. And the barbican was the watery bit, wasn't it?
All right.
Yeah. So that lost its barbican in 1835.
I didn't know that's what barbican meant.
No, I'm wrong. It's not the watery bit. The barbican, a barbican is an extended fortress that goes out in front of the gate.
Right.
So it's an extension of walls to give you a better way of defending. And all these bars had barbicans. Now they're new houses. Now I couldn't work out whether they are private houses or whether they are, again, we were talking about how if you are part of the Minster, part of the establishment, you get a house. I want to think that it is that, because it would be horrible to think that they're now privatising what's been a really important part of York for an awfully long time. Minster Court. Some really famous people have lived there, actually. What a view.
It's a fantastic view. So they're new, just there, those houses?
Well, they look new to me.
Yeah.
And that you can see there the conical, that's the chapter house.
Right.
Now, if you remember, we've been in lots of chapter houses when we've been to visit different places. And we're going to go in a chapter house. The first time we've been in a chapter house that's actually there.
Yeah.
So this is the famous walk or drive as the Queen took when she visited.
We went to see the Queen a couple of years ago and she was right there. It was absolutely jam-packed.
Now that's St Michael of Belfry, and anyone who knows about Bonfire Night in the UK, that's where Guy Fawkes, the guy who went and how do you like that, the guy who went and put all the dynamite in Parliament to try and blow up James I. That's where he was baptised, because he of course was from York. And St Michael of Belfry actually is where, now look at that.
It's amazing.
And it's so great to see it without scaffolding.
It's fantastic standing close. Me and Bryony stood really close to it and then looked up.
Now, if you think, this building it began construction in 1230. So the building you're looking at, they started building it in 1230 and they finished it in 1472.
Gosh, that's a long time.
That is an awfully long time. I think. But
it's a massive building.
Barrett's knock things up a bit quicker than that now, don't they?
They do.
Crumbs. Now, when I look at this, I always like to think of, when we visited Fountains and we looked down the side of the nave.
Yeah,
there we go.
There you go.
So what we're seeing is that's what it would have looked like down the side of Fountains.
I wanted you to go up there, but you couldn't go up.
I get in serious trouble for going up there. Now, of course, we're in the nave here, and the nave, along with the rest of the building, was finished, as I said, in 1472. And when it was finished, the Minster was Roman Catholic. And I always forget that. And if you think I sang in there for so long, now I'm pointing to where I used to sing from, but the stalls used to be so much nicer. I never really think that it was a Roman Catholic church for hundreds of years before it became Church of England. Now, Henry came on a progress to York in 1541, and he brought Catherine Howard, his wife at the time, with her.
That's Fountains again, wasn't it?
That's the same view down Fountains, so it would look very similar at Fountains Abbey. And actually, we're going to speak about Bylands later, because something at Bylands inspired something at the Minster, the Rose Window, and we're going to see that a little bit later on. But yeah, back to Catherine Howard. Catherine Howard and Henry came on a progress to York, and they came after the Pilgrimage of Grace. Now, we've spoken about that before. That's when the Roman Catholics all rose up against King Henry to try and take back the country and make it Roman Catholic. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Do you see how it's making like
Yeah.
the shadow on the on the screen there? Now these bosses.
Yes, these bosses, because there was a fire in York Minster in the 80s.
Yeah, when I was there,
Yeah,
I
and
spoke about it on the last podcast. Actually.
yeah, and the whole ceiling came down, and a children's TV programme called Blue Peter, everybody in England will know Blue Peter, held a competition for children to design those gold bosses that you could see up there. So lots of those were designed by children.
Now, we spoke about the chapter house a minute ago. If you remember, the chapter house in the abbeys that we visited is where all the monks, all the important people at that church would go to make all the important decisions. And of course, whilst the Minster wasn't a monastery, it was a missionary church. That's why it's called the Minster. So it trained up people to go out on missions to different parts of the world, to take Christianity to all the different parts of the world. And in here, in the chapter house, which we're walking into now, is where they used to sit and discuss and make all the really important decisions that will have been taken. I think we forget how important churches were back
absolutely.
then.
They were like sort of like a government.
Well, it was, and that's it's one of the other reasons why Henry was so keen to take it over. Imagine walking down. Imagine walking down here in 1472.
Yeah.
It
would have looked the same though, wouldn't it?
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
This would have looked exactly the same. This is how it was finished.
Look at that. I mean, it's just amazing to go into a chapter house when all we've seen is ruins of them before.
Now, I used to do, when I was at Minster School, I used to do shows in here. So they would put a little stage like they've done today. You'll maybe see in a minute. You can also get up to that balcony bit. I remember us doing a nativity, and the angel Gabriel went and stood up in one of those little doorways.
Oh, gosh, that was amazing.
It was superb. I mean, look at the windows, and when look at the roof.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
When you're 9.
Oh, I'd love a yarn colourway in that. And you see that would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Red and blue and gold and silver.
You just take it for granted when you are 9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
You just go into these places and don't really think. No. So this is the crypt. Now the crypt is one of the oldest parts of the church because of course it's down in the foundations. Now they found something when they were digging out the crypt, and it's actually outside. It's a Roman column, not that column there. That is one of the original columns, and I had to touch it. Oh, there I go. Oh, it was all cold. Cold and stony. But this crypt is close to my heart because this is where I was baptised first and then confirmed by the Archbishop of York. I remember the service really well. There was hundreds of people there, and it's so tiny. These people crammed in. The reason why I was panning around underneath those arches is you can see some of the foundations of the minster because we're now below floor level. You can see there are services here because there's little pews and seats all
Must be
the way
fantastic actually, a service down there.
Yes, it's a swine to sing in though.
Oh, because of the echo.
Yes,
yeah.
It's a really strange echo. But remembering King Henry's progress here with Catherine Howard, this was one of the places where Catherine Howard got up to naughty things with a courtier called Thomas Culpeper.
Oh gosh, really?
Yes, it was at York and at Lincoln, somewhere else as well, and all of these things were used in the case against her, which then resulted in her being executed just 1 year later, 1542. She's taken to the Tower of London, and she was executed. Now, the Great East window, unfortunately, was covered up whilst we were there. Look at that chest. Now, that chest has been there for as long as I can remember.
Right.
So I used to, when I was like 7, 8 years old and I was going into choir practice, I would walk past that chest.
And what was it for?
They used to keep robes and things in there.
Oh gosh, right.
Now here we are in the choir, and we're stood exactly next to where I used to stand. So I would stand there and I would sing the services, and I forgot, we used to go on Christmas Day.
Yeah, you told me that before.
So I'd get up on a morning, quickly open my presents, and then I used to have to be in at 9:30, and we would do a 10:30 service, and then we would do another service at about midday, and then we would get picked up by our mums and dads at about 2:30. And really our Christmas Day, there's the organ loft, it's amazing. Our Christmas Day really was totally judged by the services. And do you know what? It was sort of cool. Now, there's that column.
Ah, right.
That was
That was inside.
in the Pretoria that we've already
Right.
spoken about. So where the emperor, I've forgotten his name. What was he called? I'm going to show him in a minute. Constantine. That's where Constantine was made emperor, the Pretoria, and there is a column from that Pretoria.
It's always full of tourists around here, isn't it?
It is.
Lots of Japanese.
Now what we're going to see now is the Minster School, where I went to school from the age of about 6 until I was 11. There it is. Now the Minster School was founded in 627 by Paul Linus, the first Archbishop of York, and it was founded for the choristers at the Minster. Now unfortunately, by the time I went, it had a fairly checkered past. It sort of went out of business in the late 1800s, but in 1903 it moved here, and my dad went, and my uncle went, and my 2 brothers went, and then I went. And in 1983, no, later than that, 1987, I sang for the Duke and Duchess of York. There it is. There's the Great Window, and there it is at Bylands. So that was built at Bylands. When they were building the Minster, they liked that, so they thought, we'll have one of those, and they stuck it in the Minster. Now that's the iconic view for me.
It is, yeah.
Every day after school.
And they're always doing work on some bits of it,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Every day after school, I'd walk across. I'd have to doff my cap as I crossed the road to the cars. Of course, there's no cars now. They've
No.
pedestrianised it. And then off I would go into choir practice. So whilst most school days in this country finish at 3:30, mine didn't finish till 5:30 because choir practice and then the service. Here we are on Stonegate.
Yeah.
Is it? Yes, it
Don't
is.
get eye, don't you tell me. They all kind of look the same to me.
Yes, this is Stonegate, so this is the road that leads directly down from that bar that we showed you a minute ago. This is a Roman road, and either side of this road now, in medieval times, shops opened up, and there's some great shops down
There
here.
is, there is.
Great jewellers, great toy shops,
Yeah.
as we see here.
She's a funny face.
You know,
she's
she's
half
always
closing her
blinking.
eyes.
Look,
She always wants to go into this teddy
the
bear
bear
shop.
shop. Now, can you spot Kay?
Yeah, gosh, it was so
Can you spot
packed.
KK?
Where am I?
You're at the back there.
Oh gosh, it was so packed.
And there it is.
There it is.
Yeah. So we were heading down Stonegate on our way to Betty's.
Yeah.
And of course, we jettisoned that idea.
We did,
when
we saw the queue.
Going
And
halfway
this
down.
is 11, it's about 11:40. We said we'd get there early for lunch.
Yes.
And you know, this is how busy it was then.
We are now on the Shambles.
Yeah.
So this is the famous road. Now the Shambles gets its name from Fleshambles. And Fleshambles, I can't remember what, it's Saxon, Anglo-Saxon, meaning flesh shelves. And it was called that because this is where all the butchers were. Now that building there on the left, that is where Margaret Clitheroe, she's a saint now. She used to hide priests during the Reformation.
Oh, look!
Around Shambles.
A wool shop.
We have to look inside.
I did.
And you're going to be showing your goods later on in the podcast
yeah,
that
yeah.
you purchased.
It's a lovely little wool shop. Lots of really nice sock yarn. I bought some sock yarn and I bought some Debbie Bliss.
You did.
Yeah.
But don't tell Kay. Bryony and I found another one.
I'm seriously not speaking to them.
Well, I enjoyed that trip to York, but it was pretty tiring.
It was very tiring.
Just really because of the substantially huge amounts of people.
It was ridiculous. And York, if you've been, you'll know this, but if you've never been, it's lots of little, tiny little
They call them Snickleways. There's a book
Do
called The
they?
Snickleways of York.
snickleways. Right. Because that must come from a snicket.
Yeah. A bit like a ginnel.
A bit like a gennel.
We should
But
head over to the
they're-
Gubbins thread and discuss Snickleways.
Snickleways. I
There's
like
a book
that word.
by Mark Jones, I think his name was.
Right.
The Snickleways of York.
Right.
Historical book.
So it's
of it.
all, it's like a little rabbit warren of
It's medieval.
roads.
That's what it
Yeah,
is.
it's medieval, very tiny. Cars, can cars go down them?
Not
Actually, not
a lot
like the
of them.
shambles. And,
No.
So they're pedestrianised, aren't they? But the cobbles,
Yeah.
everything's cobbles.
I'm sure early morning deliveries. But
Yeah,
I mean, it is the old cobbles
yeah.
that will have,
yeah.
I'm sure, been replaced quite a few times. But
But it was, you couldn't. It was, we were just literally standing still because people, there were that many people. I've never seen it like it. And
anyway,
We're back,
We digress.
and it's time to find out what's off your needles.
Don't do that.
Okay, Jones.
I don't like you doing that, and I tell you every time I don't like it. Watch the ball.
Okay. Have you bleached them yet? Get the bleach out.
Oh, it must be awful being like
Oh, look,
that.
it's Dr. Giraffe.
Yeah, I'm sure I mentioned last time that I wanted to knit a giraffe for Dan's oncologist, and you've got an appointment next Friday, haven't you, just for a checkup?
Can't wait.
Yeah, and I can't go because I'm getting my hair done, which has been a huge... I won't go into that, but anyway, I knit a Miss Gelato, yay! And I'd contemplated making her look like a doctor, but thinking about it, they don't really wear the white coats over here, do they?
Not anymore.
No,
They did years ago.
years ago, but they don't anymore. They just wear normal clothes. So
Yeah.
I just went with what I fancied doing. So she's knit from Cascade 220 Superwash paints, and the colourway is Jelly Bean. And Tilly Trout is knitting one in exactly the same colourway with a lemon as well.
Wow.
Couldn't believe it. And the nose and ends of arms and feet are just standard Cascade 220 Superwash. Can I remember the colourway? I'm not entirely sure. It's on my project page. I think it might have been lemon or light lemon or something along those lines. And then the cardigan is knit with Eden Cottage yarns. There's just their standard sock. I'm not sure what the name of it is. Pendle it might be. And that's in the Blossom colourway. So she's all done, and she'll go to Dr. Haney on next week, next Friday.
Okay, Jones, what's off your needles?
Yay! It is a pair of socks.
Ooh.
I finished my Desert Vista Dye Works socks that I was knitting for the Knit Along with Come Knit With Us podcast with Kimmy Knits and Kermit Von Frog. And I remembered on, I think it was like the 28th or something, that I hadn't finished them, and it ended at the end of November. So I quickly worked on them for a couple of days and finished them. And I love them. And I've actually worn I did wash them and block them, but I've worn them. I wore them for a whole day in shoes and everything, so they've kind of gone a little bit baggy. They'll need another wash. But I love them, and they actually came up. I did my normal 64 stitch count on 2.5mm needles, and they've actually come out a little bit big. And I just wonder, I don't think my gauge is like getting looser. I don't feel like it is. So maybe I need to start, I don't know, maybe it's just certain yarns maybe where I need to go down to a 2.25, because this is quite a plump fingering weight. I loved it. Really loved working with it, and I've got some more colours on their way to me, which should be here any day. I ordered the O'Clark colourway, which is from National Lampoons, and then another one of her Somebody ones. I can't remember which one it was. So they're all done. This is the Somebody Doodle Dandy colourway.
Spiky.
Spiky?
Yeah.
What's spiky?
Continue on, sorry.
And that's it.
Oh,
Somebody Doodle Dandy. Loved it.
beautiful. So, and you liked knitting with it.
I loved knitting with it, yeah. I can't wait to get more.
And who did you say it was again?
Desert Vista Dye Works.
Okay. So, it's time for me to ask someone. Oh yeah, I just need to slip this off. Don't say anything. Yeah, because I'm getting a bit warm. I genuinely am getting a bit warm,
Yeah, it is a
actually.
bit warm,
I
yeah.
contemplated swapping round the
But-
people who I was shacked out because I was getting so warm.
It's bizarre because it's freezing out today.
Do you like my cowl?
I do.
I've styled it.
Styled it like Han Solo. Or...
Did I successfully style it Han
Yeah,
Solo-esque
yeah,
again?
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is. I did actually say to you, I want a cowl like Han Solo, and you did make this
Oh, right.
with that in mind.
Right,
and
it
you did
just
succeed.
grew. It just grew to massive proportions.
It is a bit of a whopper.
It is.
So, who am I going to ask? What's off your needles? Now, if you were to sit down and watch Downton Abbey whilst reading a Jane Austen book, eating a Krispy Kreme, receiving gifts of yarn, you might be this person. Because this person loves Downton Abbey.
She does.
She loves anything Jane Austen, and you'll be a friend for life if you bring her a Krispy Kreme and some yarn.
What's a Krispy Kreme?
You know what a Krispy Kreme is.
I don't. What's a Krispy Kreme?
You know, in the service stations in this country,
Yeah.
and the stands which have the donuts in.
Oh my gosh.
That'd
yeah.
be Krispy Kreme.
Yes.
Yeah, it's quite fun.
It's because I love donuts, but I like plain donuts.
You go
I don't like all stuff on them.
You see
I just
people
like plain
buying them
ring
for
donuts,
lunch.
no jam. I hate jam in donuts.
Oh, I love jam.
Oh no, I don't. It always makes it too sweet.
I like Krispy Kremes too.
I've never had a Krispy Kreme. Maybe I should.
No, because that may start a
The
slippery
ball
slope
rolling. Might
into
be like coconut chocolate.
Chocolateville.
Yeah.
Disaster. And this person, the reason why I felt I had to do a shout out for this person this time was because I'm wearing this lovely T-shirt also, which it just dropped on us.
It did.
And we were like, "What's going on?"
I was like, "Who sent you there? Who sent you just?"
And she said they bought it ages ago,
Yeah.
but it had disappeared under a pile of Jane Austen books and yarn and Krispy Kreme boxes. But then they found it and they sent it, and you washed it yesterday for me, and I'm wearing it today. So tell me, what's on you? No, what's off your giggles? I don't know what's wrong. It's the cold.
And her mum, I love her mum, Lucy. I love Lucy.
Lucy's yarn pocket.
I love you. I love
love
Lucy. She just dyed her hair this amazing sort of blue colour.
That's cool.
She's so cool.
Blue.
Got like blue highlights in.
Blue hair? Well, I never. Well, I think now is the perfect time to discuss the debacle that was...
The what?
Debacle.
Debacle. Did you do that on purpose to wind me up?
Yeah, it's a bit like the bridge at Remagen.
Oh, don't even start.
I think it might be Remagen.
No, it's not. It's Remagen. Get serious. Somebody's going to correct me now, aren't they? And tell me it is the ridiculous way he
German
said it.
watchers, if you could confirm the correct way.
Oh, yeah. Nicole, you'll know.
C. Robertson.
Nicole, you just totally got your name wrong. Nicole C. Robertson? I don't think so. It's Nicole C. Mendez.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, honestly, what I have to live with.
But Nicole C. Robertson.
Who's that?
Robertson. I'm pretty sure she takes amazing pictures.
I don't know who that is then.
Quite often of coffee. I doubt she watches this though.
Right.
Because I think she's got like 10,000 followers on Instagram.
Alright.
Anyway, last episode, we had a drunk bear
Did we?
messing with our uploads.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you know,
That was a debacle.
Truth be known. I mean, I just have no idea what went on because I followed exactly the same workflow as always. I do wonder if a proportion of this is my messed up brain at the moment.
Could be.
There could be an element of that, but it was just awful. So first upload, it uploaded one segment of the unedited podcast. So sincere apologies for that. We got that down, and we got that down fast. Thanks to someone who is going to be asked what's on her stereo fairly soon. And then the second upload just started flagging copyright. And we don't embed any music in the podcast. It's ambient sound, it's never full tracks, and it's never been a problem before.
We think it was Johnny Mathis that triggered it.
It was Johnny Mathis. It was Johnny Mathis that triggered it. And what was interesting was it was whenever I was singing along, because those were the two songs that it picked up on.
Alright, well don't sing along this time.
No, I'm not going to. I mean, we're going to talk over everything fairly heavily to avoid any potential disasters. So sincere apologies for the upload debacle, Remagen.
Does it to wind me up?
Now, because of what happened last episode, we weren't able to talk about one of the most important bands I wanted to talk about. And what I'll do is I'll put something in the What's on your stereo thread so you can experience this band at their best. And that's Hue and Cry, who we both absolutely love. We had to cut all that out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, you know, the Hue and Cry bit went. Hue and Cry, Scottish band, 90s. Just brilliant, great lead singer. And 2 albums I think they released. They might have done 3, but the first 2 albums, every track on there is exceptional, so worth a go. And of course, you on iTunes and on Amazon, you can have a listen before you buy, can't you? But YouTube's the way, and I'll post something in the What's on Your Stereo thread. So what's on my stereo this week? Well, the first thing picks up very much on the Mark Cohn, the Billy Joel thread of the previous episodes. Do you know who this is?
Sounds like Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah, sort of reminds me of Knitting Den's theme music.
She had to change hers because of copyright, didn't she?
Yeah, you've got to be so careful. This is a guy called Billy Preston. Now, Billy Preston, he had quite a few famous songs. I'll try and find it in a minute while we're talking. There's a few that you'll know, Kate.
Right.
But the reason why this guy got famous was he was the piano player for the Beatles.
Oh gosh.
So he played on all the Beatles albums, and that got him known by the recording studios, and then he got a deal himself. And he was big as you can get from this in the 70s. This was one of my favourite songs that he did. It's called Strutting, without the G on the end, so strutting.
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 And I used to listen to this when I used to walk to work, right about the time when I was at college. And the interesting thing is now is I'm doing lots of power walking on a morning, and this is it's the second song that comes on. It's got a fast pace. Good. Oh, actually, it'd be steady knitting this. So we tried knit to it in over.
No, it's too fast.
Oh.
Too fast for me. I'm not a huge.
We need Holly Dad. We need Swift
Oh no,
knits.
you need like Amelia. Amelia's like Wonder Woman
Lightning.
knitting. She's like, yeah. I think she knits Portuguese style as well with it round like that.
As we established when we watched Nick's Nuts.
Oh yeah.
So, Billy Preston, give it a go. I got into this when I was about 18, 19. Still listening to it now. There's a good greatest hits album on iTunes. So yeah, check that one out. The next thing that I'm talking about this week is something that I really don't like to talk about now, and that's show music.
Oh. I shouldn't pull a face.
Now, theatre work, I did theatre work for many years, and not complaining because it paid the mortgage. Not our dog, Knitting Den.
Not our dog.
So yeah, theatre music. Why am I putting on theatre music? Because around this time I was starting to do theatre work, pit work. And actually just slightly before this time I got into this particular show really heavily. I think you like it though. I'll let it play a little bit. It by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice. It came out in the 70s, so about the same time that Billy Preston was famous. And it was the first show I really listened to heavily. And I think this is what got me into shows, because I'd started to listen to slightly more like the Dire Straits, you know, the sort of rocky stuff. And this is a really rocky, another word I hate, funky, funky show. And I famously said, I'll tell you what it is, it's Jesus Christ Superstar. This song,
I love it.
This song is called Simon Zealots, and this was one of my favourite ones to drum to. And I stopped doing shows around the time Kay and I met because it just was not conducive to having a relationship, because I was just out all the time on a night. And I said to this guy, very sweetly, for many years after me stopping doing shows, this guy used to phone me every year and ask me to do his show, and I said there's only 2 shows that I would come out of retirement for. One of them is West Side Story, and the other one is Jesus Christ Superstar. And he said, that's why I'm phoning you, we're doing Jesus Christ Superstar.
So you couldn't say no.
So I couldn't say no. So that was the last show I did, and that was in 2014. No, it wasn't. That's this year. It was 2010. It was 4 years ago.
Really?
I did my
It
last show.
seems longer than that.
Yeah, a lot's happened. So Jesus Christ Superstar, whether you like shows or not, is worth a listen.
Oh, it's fabulous. I'm not, admittedly, I'm not a great theatre show lover, am I really? But Jesus Christ Superstar is just in a league of its own, I think. It's just, the music's absolutely amazing.
You saw me do it at York,
I
didn't you?
did.
And I got your tickets really
Twice,
close to
I
me, and
think.
that was a real error, wasn't it?
Twice. Why?
Because it was loud.
Loud.
I thought, oh, you know, me being, I was just stupid.
Because it's a rock show, isn't it? It's a rock.
So she sat right behind the drums. Oh no.
It's loud.
Well, about that time you came to the studio when I was recording.
Oh, that's
and you were
ridiculous. That was just stupid. You all had like
like-
headphones on, and I'm there going, ah! It's
She-
so loud.
She'd been to the toilet and she was coming through the drum booth because for some reason the toilet was next to the drum booth. It's quite good for the drummers, I suppose. And she came through and it was right when the engineer was saying, right, we're going for a take, so just said, right, stay there. And they did a take.
That's right.
Brian
I
Adams
stay
song.
there, yeah.
When you
yeah.
love someone.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh,
So loud.
stop it. So, Jesus Christ Superstar,
Yeah.
worth a go. Now this last band, I wonder if you even know who this band are. And I don't think,
No, it's Amsterdam.
I'm really not certain that Americans will know who this band are. Actually, maybe a lot of British people won't know who this band are. This band that was really big in the late 80s, early 90s. They're called Thunder. It's a British rock band. And I was so into these guys because I really loved Aerosmith, and I really loved Bon Jovi, and I loved all that type of stuff. And this was like the British version of that. And this song's called River of Pain.
Oh gosh.
Why do they always have names like that?
Yeah, they do.
So Thunder, if you like rocky stuff, give Thunder a go. And actually, just talking of what's on your stereo, the person who I asked last episode what's on your stereo was, as Kay calls her, ex-Lady Blue X.
That's her name. I don't know why you
It's
found
so
it so
funny.
funny.
You could have gone Lady Blue and I would have known you. But
Well, okay.
ex-Lady Blue X.
Ex-Lady Blue X. That was her name.
Maria, you'll always be ex-Lady Blue X to us. Maria posted two of the tracks. I haven't listened to the other one yet, which is but I did listen to one, and it was a band called Kansas. Have you heard of Kansas?
No.
Well, I listened to this song and I just thought I knew it, and I can't have done because I don't ever recall hearing the band before. So it's
Right.
the type of music that you listen to, you just think, oh, I know that, and I think that's always a good sign. That's good music, and it was in your sort of rocky vein. Really cool. So give them a go. You can check them out in the What's on Your Stereo thread. But a good recommendation from ex-Lady Blue X.
Ex-Lady Blue X.
So, who am I going to ask what's on your stereo? Well, the person who I'm asking what's on your stereo learnt to knit age 6.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
She was taught by her mum.
Gosh, that's very young to learn. Well done.
She's married to an archaeologist.
I love archaeology.
How cool is that?
Oh,
That's so
I've always
cool.
wanted to go and dig something up.
Yeah. She's married to an archaeologist, and she has to be careful around wind because she tends to trip over air.
She trips over air.
I think what she's saying is she may be slightly clumsy.
Well, you're in good company there, is what I'm saying.
Cara Dawn.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, do you remember? Why am I picking Caroline from Australia? Because Caroline, it was sort of, you did two things. The first thing Caroline did was she posted something on Instagram last week about the podcast, saying, am I the first on Instagram? And I sort of replied, yeah, well, if it says naught, then you must be. And it was when she did that I just alarm bells started to ring in my head that there was some sort of problem.
Because it had uploaded really quick.
They had uploaded way too fast. So we went. I was meeting Kay for lunch. She'd been in town.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So she'd been in town. I went to meet her for lunch. After we went for lunch, I thought, oh, I'll check the podcast, make sure everything's okay. So I click on the podcast, and that's when I realised. So
So you quickly via iPad, didn't you? Brought it down, took it
my
down.
heart's like going.
He was in such a panic. I can't tell you how much of a
This
panic.
is my mixed up head at the moment.
And you quickly took it down, and I think about 80 people had watched it.
8 people had watched it.
8 people had watched this unedited section. and it just threw you into an absolute tizzy.
Yeah.
And
This
you
is
took it down straight away and put up a post and said, apologies, you're going to sort it out. And it took me sort of half an hour to calm you down, to say, look, it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to mind.
now the reason why I wanted to ask Caroline what's on your stereo. It's two reasons. The first reason is, as I've already said, she sort of highlighted that it was an issue. But then not only that, she then started answering people's queries, saying, where's the podcast gone?
Oh.
And she's going, oh, don't worry, Dan knows.
Yeah.
It uploaded a section of an edited podcast. So, as I think I said at the time, you're an absolute angel, because we weren't able to get a really good reception and get online. So that's the main reason. The other reason is I sort of want to know what Australians are listening to. What are you listening to? What's on your stereo?
And it's summer in Australia now. Is it coming into summer?
Like a couple of shrimps on the barbie.
Because we're going into winter, so they must be coming into summer.
I really do apologise for that.
That was terrible.
No,
I can't imagine that they do put
I was
shrimp
parodying
on
a film.
I know.
It's Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, don't even go there.
It's time for What's on Your Christmas TV.
Yay.
Yes. Well, we say yes. I mean, we have been enjoying lots of good Christmas films, but we've been finding those Christmas films are ones we already know.
Yeah.
We have some really good recommendations, which is really great. We watched those and really enjoyed those, but we've been trying to check out new ones to review, which we're going to do now for you. And I thought what would be really cool would be if we reviewed something really new, which is what we did last episode. We reviewed the Harry Connick Jr. one.
Yep.
Which you really weren't so keen on at all.
Well, I would have rather have watched that than the one we watched last night.
Yes. Well, that is the interesting thing. I picked, and I said to Kay actually before we started to watch it, this could be really good, or it could be really bad.
It wasn't really bad.
Do you know what?
Wasn't very...
Change bad to sad.
Yeah, it was sad in terms of, it just wasn't festive. It was obviously set at Christmas, but it really didn't have any sort of good Christmas feel to it, did it?
And if you saw a movie that's called A Merry Christmas Miracle, you'd think that's going to be happy. If you saw, was that a yarn down?
It was a yarn. It was a Project Down.
Project Down. It's a new one. And then if you also saw that one of the people in that film was Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And Oliver Platt and Candice Bergen.
Yeah.
And the main character, I've seen him in things before, Joel McHale.
I've seen him in things as well.
So this is a film with lots of good people in it. So you think this is going to be good.
And I think the reason, it was only made, I think, this year.
It came out this year.
It came out this year, maybe last year they made it. And I think it was the whole Robin Williams being in it. And he plays a very depressed man in it. He's an alcoholic father who was never a very good father to his son. He was always drunk.
It's not believable that. With Robin Williams as a character, as a person.
And I think the fact of how he actually died, he did suffer from depression, didn't he? And
part of me worries that he would have looked at things like this and just gone, look at where my career's at.
Yeah, and it just seemed too close to maybe his reality at that time. I don't know. I just found it very sad,
And it's so strange as well to see Oliver Platt in the film for no more than maybe 9 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The film, in a nutshell, is about a family who is coming up to Christmas, and everyone's getting ready, wrapping presents, and the brother of the dad of the family phones up and says, I've had a baby. The way he's had a baby is just insane.
Yeah.
His wife has run off with a
He's
Mexican...
acquired a baby.
Yeah. His wife runs off with a Mexican baseball player.
Yeah.
They have a kid and they dump the kid on him.
So it's not even his child. It's a very cute baby. Oh my gosh, the baby's so cute. But just the circumstances, there was lots of things in it that were totally random.
Yeah.
And this was one of them. So
completely random. I think what they were trying to do was they were trying to say this guy had been in the army, and he'd fallen out of a
of a people carrier in the army and bashed his head and
Yeah,
had got some sort of personality disorder.
and he kind of wasn't all there. He was a very sweet fella.
Sort of wrong to poke fun though.
Yeah, it was kind of making fun of him, which, yeah.
So anyway, it transpires that they have to go to their parents for Christmas, and the parent is Robin Williams, and that's the dad, and the mum is Candice Bergen. So they go, and basically the storyline is they go and they forget their son's Christmas presents.
And their son's only 6 and he still believes in Santa because Santa is real. So he's like, right, I've got to go home. And it was 4 hours away. They live in Chicago and his mum and dad are in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Wisconsin, I don't know whereabouts in Wisconsin. But they must be neighbouring states.
Yeah. So off they go to go and pick the stuff up. And it's basically the story of what happens. And I'm not even sure if there is a coming together of father and son by the end. It didn't feel like it.
That's what you expect to happen, and it kind of did, but not really in a very apparent way.
No. So I think,
but there was lots of random things, like his wife and his mum-in-law up in the attic. And
drinking vodka out of the bottle.
Just getting totally drunk and drinking vodka out of the bottle.
And the dad was an alcoholic, and one of the points of the film was they weren't happy about the dad being an alcoholic.
And they're drinking vodka on Christmas Eve night. They've got lots of children who are all asleep supposed to be asleep in the basement, and they weren't. They were all mucking around. And they're getting drunk, and then the mum falls out of the loft hatch down and just like passes out drunk.
Yeah. No, the kids get up on Christmas morning and the mother's face down drunk. I think what this tells you is, and similarly with the Harry Connick Jr. one, it doesn't matter how good an actor you are, it really does come down to if you've got a good story and actually good direction. Oh no.
There's a knot in my yarn.
What do you do? Can you do the finger thing?
Oh. Sorry, there's a knot.
Can you do the thing where you cut it and finger it together?
Well, I'm going to have to, but it's right there and it's only in one strand and I'm holding it double. I'm going to have to think about that. Oh, can you believe that? Look at that. I'll put that down and pick something else up.
That's just not cricket, is it? Sorry.
So it's alright.
So, what would we score a Merry Christmas Miracle?
Gosh, what would I score it?
3?
3 or 4. We didn't turn it off.
Well, no, but we didn't turn it off. I'll tell you why we didn't turn it off. We didn't turn it off because we knew we were recording today and we knew we couldn't default to another film.
No, and it was only an hour and 10 minutes long.
You've got to think.
We couldn't believe it was only an hour and 10 minutes.
I can't believe that Robin Williams picked up that script and thought, yeah, this is a film I want to do, knowing that it was going to be an hour and 10 minutes. I think he's read the script, he's thought, oh, this looks all right. Maybe some of the other people did. They then got into filming, and I think it sometimes happens with films. There's a disaster maybe with the direction, with money, maybe the film, I don't know what, and they've ended up just getting it done as quickly as they can and getting it out. But an hour and 10 minutes? No.
It's crazy. I was quite glad because I was tired last night and I was like, oh, thank goodness I can go to bed now.
It was a Christmas miracle.
Well, it was.
It was a Merry Christmas miracle.
But then, he did get the present to him.
Yeah, but he didn't like it.
No, he made him a sledge. He handmade this wooden sledge and it was beautiful with his name on and he didn't even like it.
He wanted to play bridge for juniors. He said, oh yeah, I really wanted that. What?
It's very strange.
I'd love to know how many kids know what bridge is.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to, are they?
No.
Here, Endeth. What's on your Christmas TV?
We do, however, have Noel recorded. All is not lost.
Should we review? Do we review that? I don't know. No.
Everybody knows Noel.
Yeah. Well, we're going to continue picking new films, and maybe we'll find a good one.
Yeah.
We'll keep trying. I was just
we could review Tangerine Bear.
Oh crumbs! What's that called?
Tangerine Bear.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I think. Let's not give too much away. But no, I can't review that.
Bryony's got a children's Christmas DVD, which has got Christmas episodes of different Christmas episodes of different children's programs. And there's Postman Pat, Tractor Tom, all these kind of things. And then there's one called Tangerine Bear. It's an American cartoony sort of thing. And
Loads of famous people.
we first watched it when Bryony was about 4, and she loved it, and we watched it and watched it and watched it. It's about 20 minutes long, I think, and you don't like it.
No.
And
It's
we
too
love
saccharine for me.
Oh, me and Bryony love it, and we watched it when she got home from school yesterday, and I said, oh, I should knit a Tangerine Bear. And she's like, oh.
So maybe we'll review that. Well, I mean, we'll see. If we can find nothing else, then we could do. But it depends how well known it is. Please let us know
If you've heard of Tangerine Bear.
in the episode 14 thread on Ravelry or in the notes at the bottom of the YouTube if you know what Tangerine Bear is. American cartoon, loads of famous people in it.
Do the voices, yeah.
Yeah, Jenna,
Tom Bosley, is it
Tom Bosley, Marlon
fella from
Wayans.
Frasier.
Is he?
Niles. Yeah, Niles does one of the voices.
Oh,
A little bird in a...
So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty big names, really.
Yeah.
It's the Endy Bits.
The Endy Bits.
It's the Umzanzi competition.
Zanzi. Does make me want to sing Umbongo, and I think, you know, that's right.
So, at the start you said...
I said that Sally Jane had very kindly given us a hard copy book as well.
Yes.
So we
That
drew...
is exciting.
It is exciting. And I'm... Oh my gosh, she's sending one to me as well.
But not me.
Not you, no, it's mine. I can't wait to get it. I should
She'd
get
better share.
She said I'd get it in
Hadn't she, Sally Jane?
I should get it any day. So excited, I'll show you when I get it. So I closed the thread and I've drawn 2 numbers. I've already done the random number because it's really, you know, me sat here doing this. It's kind of boring.
I invigilated
He
it.
did invigilate. He saw me do it. And we had 88 entries. Well, there was 8. Well, mine was number 1, but it went up to 88. So thank you, everybody. That was amazing that we had that many. It was fabulous. So I random numbered 2 to 88, and I did it twice. The first one, whom this person gets the ebook, was number 40, and that was Robin from Cape Coral in Florida. Do you know it, Cape Coral? No?
No.
So it's Robin from Cape Coral. She is Sisland, Rsisland on Ravelry. So maybe she's Robin Sisland. That would make sense, wouldn't it?
Oh, Sisland.
Oh, Sisland. So you get the ebook, and I'll send your details through to Sally Jane, and I'm sure she'll send you she'll gift you that book through
Have you
to
said
Ravelry.
what she has to do?
Well, she doesn't need to do anything because that's an ebook.
Oh,
So
cool.
Sally Jane can just send it to her.
Genius. So,
And then
Robin,
Robin. Okay.
hold that thought.
Hold that thought. The print book was number 22. So you're all quickly now looking, aren't you, to see if it's you, number 22. And that is also Robin!
And it's Christmas.
It's Christmas!
Robins.
And that is 92. It's Robin in Washington, D.C. We know Robin.
Yeah, I know Robin. Robin's cool. Robin asked
she's
me questions about the floor at Byron Abbey.
I think she did medieval history
Yes.
or something at university. Is that right,
Yes,
Robin?
Robin rocks. I'm trying to see if there's a Robin on the tree. There used to
There used to be a robin on the tree. There's one on the one tree downstairs.
Right.
There will be a robin somewhere.
be. But how Christmassy is that?
2 robins. I drew
Unbelievable.
I drew the names and I'm like, it's 2 robins.
I love it.
So
what does Robin
Right.
in Washington, D.C.
Robin
need
in
to do?
Washington,
92.
92, you need to PM me your address, and then I will send that on to Sally Jane, and I'm sure then she'll arrange for your book to be sent out
What a nice
to
little
you.
Christmas gift.
It really is. It's a fabulous book.
It is.
So Robin in Cape Coral, Florida, and Robin in Washington, D.C. Hey, well done. And thank you, everybody.
Yes. We want to see some prizes for the toy cow.
Oh, yes. I did post a picture of some of these prizes, I think, right at the top of the thread, but it occurred to me that I've never shown any prizes. And I know you're all doing it just for the fun of it, but I thought, you know, I'd show you the prizes.
I bet some of them aren't.
You want yarn, don't you?
Yeah. Why else do you enter a competition? You want to win.
So my first one is, this was gifted to us a while back. It's the last of the skeins that the lovely Deb at Fondant Fibre. Oh, it's so nice.
Oh,
It's so nice.
oh, Deb.
This, I mean, whoever gets this, you're gonna absolutely love it. It's BFL, Falkland, cashmere and silk. 200 metres, and it's 9 wraps per inch. It looks like a kind of heavy worsted to me. Worsted to heavy worsted. So it'd make a fabulous hat or a couple of great giraffes. So that's the first one, hand spun by Deb.
Beautiful.
It really is beautiful.
Beautiful, Clark.
This one I bought when Ripples Crafts had a, what do you call them, trunk show at my local yarn shop, and I bought this one just because it was purpley, thinking I'd make it into something for Bryony. But she's lately become very funny about anything that's wool. It's very soft. It's superwash merino. It's very soft, but I know she might be a bit funny about it. So I thought I'd share it with someone. This is, it says it's a sport weight, but really it looks like a DK to me. It's a very juicy sport weight. 262 metres, superwash merino, and the colourway is Syringa. It's a beautiful lilac, very pretty. We've then got a skein from, this again was gifted to me, and I checked with her if it was okay to gift, and she said it was fine. It's from Dreams in Fibre, and her store on Etsy is hanloney79.etsy.com. It's Erica Luder's yarn. She hand dyed it, and this colourway is Fortune Teller. It's one of a kind. Beautiful reds, gorgeous tonal reds. It's merino nylon superwash sock. So make a fabulous pair of socks or a shawl. It's 460 yards.
Wow.
It's really good yardage. I thought that was quite a festive colour. Next is, this is out of my stash. It's the Uncommon Thread BFL sock. So it's 100% superwash BFL, Blueface Leicester, 400 metres, and it's Naval Officer. It's a gorgeous dark teals. And I was going to make...
Makes me think of Matt Franklin.
Yeah, I was going to
Naval
make
Officer.
gloves. I bought it to buy gloves, to make gloves for you, but it's quite a light fingering, and I wanted something a bit heavier. So again, I thought I'd share that with everyone. I love the Uncommon Thread. Fabulous, absolutely fabulous yarns. And again, this will make a fantastic shawl or a wonderful pair of socks. So that's 4 skeins of yarn there. I've got one more skein of yarn on the way from a lady in, I'm trying to think, she's in Canada. Is that right? It's Juliana's Fibre. And I think she's in Canada. I was just trying to remember then if she was Canada or the US, and I think she is. She's very kindly sending some self-striping, my God, sock yarn in frog's pyjamas. It's like greens and blues, really pretty. So that will be another prize. I then got some DPNs, carbons, 2.5 mils DPNs, really nice. I bought myself 2 pairs for some reason, and I don't use DPNs so much anymore, but I know lots of people do. So some DPNs, and then finally, ta-da! Stranded knits. This has been kind of around quite a lot lately, I've seen on Instagram, and my friend Sally is knitting the cardigan from it. I've knit the headband from it. There's a little story about why I've got this copy, and I've also got another copy upstairs. I got sent 2 by mistake, basically, and I checked with the shop and they just said keep it, it's our mistake. So you benefit from that. So it's Anne Kingston's Stranded Knits is the other one. So with there, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There'll be 7 prizes.
Cool.
So that's amazing, isn't it?
And this is the toy
Knit
cow
along
with our good friends,
yeah,
Marlisha.
and Talia
Yes.
at the Pen Hook and Needles podcast, doing it jointly with them. So you've still got loads of time if you want to knit up a toy. And anybody that's knitting a giraffe, go pop it in.
And remember, you can double dip
You can double dip.
like you do with Savaloys.
Oh yeah, we spoke about that, didn't we?
Yeah.
So yeah, make sure you put it into the Pen Hook and Needles Cal as well as ours.
Beautiful.
So that's all the prizes.
Now, since our last podcast, you went to the Knitting and Stitching Show in Harrogate.
I did.
Was it good?
It was good.
It's not what you said when you came back.
No, I did. I've been twice before.
I think you should talk about buying tickets in advance.
Well, if you buy your ticket in advance, it's cheaper, and I think it's not substantially cheaper. The ticket price on the door was £16, which I think it's really expensive just to walk in the door. £16, you don't get anything for that. No programme, you have to buy a programme separately, so you have to pay £16
This must be run by
to
some
walk in the
big
door. It's the Knitting and
event
Stitching
show.
show. It's a big.
Right.
It did have a company name underneath it. Yeah.
It'll be a...
So I didn't buy my ticket in advance, and I think if you bought it in advance, it was £2 or maybe £3 cheaper.
So when you do that, you expect to arrive and feel like a VIP.
And to be able to just, if I'd pre-bought the ticket, I would have just thought, right, I can just walk in and it'd be really simple. Well, I got there and I knew from last year that when you've not bought a ticket, you go in an entrance that's like further down the International Centre. It's held in Harrogate. So, but when I got there, the queue was it was massive. And last year I joined the queue because I didn't realise there was another entrance further down. It's not signposted very well at all. This year I knew better. All these people were queuing because they've got tickets, right? And they go in the main entrance. There's like these big, huge glass doors. I knew, because I needed to buy a ticket, that you just walk a bit further down and go in at the bottom entrance. Walk down there, walk straight in, got my ticket, went straight in.
You wonder, actually, just talking it out now, I wonder how many people were stood in that queue who thought that was the...
Yes, I did that last year.
Yeah.
And then it was only when I got kind of towards the front
So actually, a good
that
proportion.
I realised there's a sign that says, advanced ticket holders, but you don't see that.
So it's the poor signage that's ruining this.
And the sign to say non-ticket holders here was like outside the door, way down. It wasn't near the main entrance. So I don't think that was very good to say it was a well-established show. So I happily paid £2 or £3 more not to queue.
Yeah.
But saying that, I still think it's vastly expensive when you're spending money when you go in there.
Yeah. Well, they're making money on the stalls.
Yeah, making money on the stalls.
They make money on the stalls, make money on the door.
Yeah, and so anyway.
I mean, it's interesting because the historically, I've done an awful lot of music shows, and you don't pay to get in.
No.
You also don't pay to get into BET, which is the one of the biggest international technology shows.
And £16. I think that's a lot of money. In dollars. Just what would that be in dollars?
27.
Maybe $27, $30, something like that.
That's a lot of yarn.
Well, it is.
Or one bit of really good yarn.
£16 is a good skein of yarn, So, I knew what to expect because I'd been two previous years, and it was just exactly like the previous years. I kind of wish they'd change the stall holders a bit, or just make it a little bit different. But I bought a couple of things, and my friend Lynn came with me, so it's nice to be there with someone else. And that's where I bought the fabric for the Christmas bags. But I didn't buy very much at all. I've still got money in my purse left over.
Wow.
Still. I think I just bought these two skeins when I was looking through. I think I just bought these two. And I bought some 100% silk, which I think I mentioned I wanted to get to make a cowl for Bryony, just because she's so fussy over wool at the moment. She loves the cowl that she pinched off me, which is 100% silk. So I got this one from Watercolours and Lace, Mulberry Silk, 4-ply, and the colourway is Pink Wisteria. It's 452 metres. That's a lot, 452 metres. So it's really big yardage. And it was £23, which, silk is expensive, unfortunately. It's a beautiful colour. Pinky lilacs.
Makes me think of Parma violets.
Yeah, it does look like Parma violets. So this will become a To Infinity and Beyond, I remembered it, cowl by Hohi Locatelli. Again, it's a free pattern.
Oh, hey.
Hohi, which is featuring a lot. So I got that one. And then I always go to this stall when I go. It's the Knitting Goddess. They're actually based in Harrogate now. They used to be down south, I think, and they moved. And I've got some sock yarn, It's 25% nylon, 45 BFL and 30 mixed British wool. And the colourway is First Frost, and it's £12, which I think is pretty good actually. First Frost, and it is like frosty colours, isn't it? Lilac, pale blue, really pretty. So I got that one as well. So I made some socks and a cowl with those. So that was some purchases from there, and then when we went to York, I'll just quickly do these.
They know. Just show them what you bought.
Oh right, what I bought when I went to York is...
They've even seen the shop and the shelves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. You've knit a pair of socks from this,
Yes,
and
good.
I've knit a pair of socks from this.
Very good.
It's the West Yorkshire Spinners Blueface Leicester DK prints. So it's a DK weight yarn, and we knit, I think it's just 48 stitches. It's the pattern that you're doing now for Bryony, except
Yes.
yours has got a few less on.
Yeah.
And I've done 2 other colourways. This one's the blue tit, and we've done, I can't remember, wood pigeon and another one, owl might be. Yeah. So I've got that one for some socks, and then I saw this in the same shop and I thought, oh, that'd be nice for socks for Dan, and I've never used this yarn, and it's Shoppelwool. I've pronounced that wrong.
That's fun to say.
German people. Somebody can...
Francisco.
Shoppelwool.
Shoppelwool.
And I always think that says Admiral Duck.
Right.
But it's not, it's Admiral R. Druck is the yarn. And I don't know the colourway name, it's just got some numbers on. 1566 R 1809 INT. I'm not sure which of those is the colourway. But I just thought that would be really nice for some socks for you.
Beautiful.
So, and then finally, Michelle.
No, it's Michelle.
Michelle. I can't sing. Got no voice today.
Knitting Den could do it.
She could.
Knitting Den.
No, they're not in the same state.
Aren't they?
No.
Oh.
No, Michelle's in California.
Oh.
Knitting Den's in Colorado.
Who's in California?
Who's in California?
Sally.
Sally.
What about Brandy? Is
She
it
in
Brandy
California.
Jones?
Brandy J. Is it Brandy Jones?
I think so.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Who else is in? Loads of people are in California.
Someone go round. Preferably, I want you to go round at 5:30 in the morning. Knock on the door.
Knock on Michelle's door.
Knock on Michelle's door, and then when she opens the camera running, go, Michelle. The prize will be good.
She had an update recently, and I saw that when she put some photos up of what was going to be there, I saw this colourway and I was like, oh, I really love that. And it's called Bumble, and I found out afterwards it was named after a snowman on, is it Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer cartoon, quite an old cartoon.
Right.
Snowman called Bumble, and I loved it, and I got the mini to go with it in grey. And I've got plans for this, but I can't say what. 'Cause secret
Knitting.
secret designy,
Cool.
knitty sort of plans. So I got that. I love it. And that's it.
We need to talk about episode 15, which will be the pre-Christmas special.
It'll be the last episode before
The Christmas special.
Yeah.
That's why I called it the pre-Christmas special.
I know, but what I'm saying is that'll be the last episode that we will put out before Christmas,
Yes.
because it'll be after
Pre-Christmas
yes.
special.
Oh well, I didn't want people to think that there was going to be one on like Christmas Eve or something.
No.
No.
It'll just be the pre-Christmas special.
All right.
And for that pre-Christmas special, we needed to do a very special What's in Your Oven? Tell us about it.
Oh, what Dan asked me what would be a good thing to make.
I said, and this is how I talk, I said, what's in your oven?
He
Didn't
did.
I?
He actually did. That's a bit sad, isn't it? And I thought, oh,
It's like
what can we
tea
do?
time here is
What can
always
we do?
fun. I come down and I say, what's it? No, go on.
And I thought, well, it's got to be something festive and maybe something that's very British that, you know, maybe our lovely friends in the US might not have made, might not have at
Some
Christmas.
people in Britain might not have made these.
Some people in Britain don't like them, but
Or may not have tried to make their own.
may not have tried to make their own. I think it's like anything. You think you don't like something, but actually if you make it all from scratch, you might realise that, actually, you know...
Then you can cast an informed
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
Because the shop ones never taste the same.
No.
Not even from posh shops.
No, and you can make... I'm talking about mince pies.
No, we don't mean beef mince.
We don't mean beef
We don't
mince.
mean ground mince.
No, there is
We
no
mean-
meat in it. There used to be historically, but there isn't anymore. We mean sweet mince pies. We just call them mince pies over here. And normally what I do is I buy really nice quality mincemeat. You can buy it, you know, very readily over here. And I make the pastry myself and make them that way. But then it occurred to me that I wasn't sure that in the US that you can buy mincemeat in jars.
We're 90% certain you can't.
Just from what Knitting Den said in one of her podcasts, she was asking somebody for the recipe for mincemeat, so it made me think that you couldn't get, and the fact that you can't.
Knitting Den, the recipe for mincemeat is in your Delia book.
Yeah, it is, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make some mincemeat.
Together with you.
So if you've recently bought that book, actually, can I do that recipe from that book, because it might not be online?
There will be a Delia online mincemeat recipe.
There will be, and I'll make sure it's one that's
we'll find a really good
online.
one. We'll find a really good online recipe for mincemeat.
Yeah.
And
so
then-
we'll make the mincemeat.
And it's easy. It's not difficult.
It's not difficult.
You just need the right ingredients
Yeah.
to stir them together.
Yeah, and it's kind of fun, I think. It's a fun thing to make. And then we'll make the pastry and we'll make mince pies.
Beautiful. So next episode, mince pie time. I'm very excited.
Because you love mince pies.
Yes. Can we do that filming tomorrow? In fact, could we continuously do that filming between now and the next episode?
Well, it might be.
We need to do a test
run.
run.
Oh, I'm not doing it twice.
That's the end, I think,
I think we've come to the end.
of episode 14. We hope you enjoyed, and if you haven't had a quick look at our our live action Christmas card, we wanted to say a big thank you to everyone, because this year's been momentous for so many reasons. There's so many negatives, but actually I can only look on this year as a positive.
Yeah,
I really,
it's true.
genuinely.
Yeah.
I don't think about
It
any
has.
point of this year.
No, I mean, it has been full of what could be construed as negatives. You know,
It's been horrid.
It's been horrid. You know, it started with the surgery on Dan's neck, which I'm not entirely sure we've ever spoken about on the podcast.
No, we haven't.
And
actually, it was that surgery that caused the start of this podcast, because I was on the table and it was a serious operation, and I was thinking of all the things that I would do differently if I got through the operation okay. And one of the things was that I wanted to do more things. I wanted to do more things together.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
at that
that's
point you'd
true.
always said, no chance am I doing a podcast.
No, I'd always said no.
And I came out and in the period of the 2 weeks following the operation, I said, why don't we give it a go?
Yeah, and that was the beginning of April, and that was another cancer scare, or the first cancer scare, that it actually turned out to be benign. There was a huge lump in Dan's neck. So, you know, we breezed over that as if it was nothing, but, you know, it was then quickly followed by obviously what happened recently. So, you know, it's been a very tough year.
That was July, wasn't it?
So yeah, your surgery was April, and then your second surgery was July.
And then we all know what happened after
And then
that.
we all know what happened after that.
But this year, as we said, was the year we started the podcast, and when we met all of you guys, and the support, as we've said, has been so overwhelming. So we'd love to send everyone a Christmas card, but that's just impossible because there's so many of you. So we made that little short live action one anyway. So Merry Christmas from us. We're obviously going to see you anyway,
Yeah,
aren't
we will. It's a bit early to be saying that.
But now's the time when you'd normally be writing your cards.
It's true, I need to write some cards.
Yes, always a joy.
I have wrapped up all the parcels.
Good. Well, we'll see you in 2 weeks
2 weeks.
for episode 15.
15.
Yeah.